Welcome to the 901 AI podcast, powered by the FedEx Institute of Technology at the University of Memphis. This series brings the energy of our 901 AI meetup community to the mic, where researchers, innovators, and industry leaders share how artificial intelligence is reshaping our world. From real-world applications to emerging breakthroughs, we dive deep into the ideas driving the next era of technology. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started.
Hello, everybody. We're going to get started. I'd like to introduce you to Melanie. She works with MCS, and she's going to give a talk on the dark side of AI. Melanie?
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here this afternoon. I'm actually a proud alumni of the University of Memphis. So it is here where I learned I could do anything that I set my mind to. And if I was willing to outwork my own doubt, I could accomplish anything. So I did not just receive a degree here at the University of Memphis, but it was here where I gained tremendous confidence that has been a catalyst for my life and who I am today. And since attending the Herf College of Engineering, I've spent my entire career in technology. And today I lead an IT firm that helps businesses keep up with a world that never stops evolving. And I'm excited to be with you today to talk to you about artificial intelligence, and not just the hype or the headlines, but the harder questions that we need to ask. We are going to take a complete and honest look at this complex technology. And my hope is that when you leave here today, you will leave today realizing that there is more to AI than what you see on the surface. Because AI is powerful and it's transformative, but that is not the whole story. We are here to not just look at AI and what it can do, but what it might do. We're going to discuss the risk, the benefits, the ethics, and the responsibility that come with it. So today is not going to be a technical conversation, even though I own an IT company. It is going to be a very human conversation. And I want you to know that I am not here to be an alarmist, but I have a strong message for everyone in this room. Because every leap forward in technology comes with a price. The printing press spread knowledge, yet propaganda. And the Industrial Revolution brought progress, but it also brought pollution. And now we have AI, which is fast and powerful and is running at the speed of light. It's moving much faster than any one of us could have ever attended. And with that power comes a clear choice, because AI can help us or it can mislead us. And it can reflect our best intentions, or it could expose our worst. And that is what we are here to talk about today, is we are racing to implement this across the globe, how we can take responsibility for the future that we are building. My name is Melanie Suria, and I'm the founder and owner of Memphis Computer Support, an IT services firm that has spent the past 15 years helping businesses stay hardened, efficient, and confident in a world with consistent changing and digital transformation. And we handle everything from cloud systems to daily IT needs, but our deepest focus is cybersecurity. Risk is real, and our job is to help businesses stay aware and resilient. And my path started long before I launched my company. I spent 8 years at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital supporting IT needs for the research community of our world-class scientists. And that experience showed me how much reliable and secure technology matters. And when I later stepped away to raise my family, that passion for technology never left, and it eventually turned into Memphis Computer Support. And that same drive still guides everything I do on a daily basis. So many of you may be asking yourselves, how does an IT firm fit into this conversation about AI? And that is a very simple answer. In IT, we build and protect the infrastructure that makes AI work. the cloud, the data, the connectivity, and the security behind it. This is our world every day. And as a tech leader, I see risk all the time. Systems left exposed, vulnerabilities, and the daily war we live in as cybersecurity is an immense battlefield. Change is happening faster than responsibility can keep up. And with AI, it is no different. But as a mom, I see another kind of risk. I have watched what social media has done to our children, the anxiety, the comparison, the loss of real human connection, the addiction to our devices. And now we are putting something even more powerful in their hands. So for me, this is not just about technology. It has become personal because the two sides of my life, the tech leader and the mom, came together and made me start asking harder questions. Do not get me wrong. I use AI every day. Ask my husband. But I also believe that we need to guide it and not the opposite. That is why I'm standing here today to bring awareness, balance, and responsibility to the table, to help others see both the opportunity and the risk, to be a voice of reason in what feels like a race to put AI everywhere we can. So before we can understand where AI is taking us, we have to look back at how we got here. Let's take a look at how technology has evolved from Industry 1.0 to where we are today. The story of AI did not start in Silicon Valley. It started centuries ago with steam, steel, and electricity. And each revolution has pushed us forward, but has also forced us to ask new questions about power, work, and humanity. Let's look at how we got from Industry 1.0 to Industry 4.0 and how each step set the stage for the world that we are in today. In Industry 1.0 in the late 1700s, we have the age of steam. And if you can imagine it, everything is still running on muscle and hand tools. And then almost overnight, everything changed. With James Watt's steam engine, it kicked off an entirely new world, with factories rising, railways spreading, and one loom was able to do the work of hundreds of people. Smoke filled the skies, people flooded into the cities, and for the first time ever, machines are doing the work that was once done by human hands. And then if we fast forward about a century, we step into Industry 2.0. And this is where the world lit up. With electricity and steel and oil and the assembly line, it was a game changer. Suddenly, work is not stopping when the sun goes down, cars are rolling off production lines, and cities are glowing at night. And mass production becomes the heartbeat of modern life. It is fast, loud, and full of possibilities. And then Industry 3.0, with the digital revolution, is around the 1970s, and this time we gave machines brains. With computers, microchips, and early automation, it took over the scene, and we moved from paper to pixels and from analog to digital, and the world started shrinking because everything became connected. Everything was moving information at the speed of light. And with Industry 4.0 is the age of intelligence, and that is where we are today. It is where the physical and digital worlds have completely merged. AI, cloud, and data, and automation in everything that we do. And our systems are not just connecting anymore. They are learning, adapting, and deciding. And that is incredible. But that is where things start to get complicated. So here we are living in Industry 4.0, and it's just not one technology. It's an entire ecosystem of data, cloud, AI, and connectivity. And they are all working together, shaping how we live, work, and think every single day. So as you can see, every breakthrough we've made with cloud, robotics, IoT, and data have led us to this turning point where we are. We have reached the moment where technology is starting to think on its own. And the systems we have built are not just following commands anymore. They are learning, adapting, and making decisions right beside us. At the center of all of this is artificial intelligence. And AI is what is driving Industry 4.0. It takes the constant stream of data flowing around us and it turns it into big decisions. And it turns machines into partners and those ideas into big outcomes. And here is how it all connects. IoT is collecting the data, the cloud is storing the data, and robotics act on the data. And AI is the brain that makes sense of this all. It's interpreting, predicting, and optimizing in real time. AI isn't just making these machines smarter, it's helping businesses become more adaptive, more productive, and more innovative than ever before. So really, the question isn't whether we're going to use AI. It's how will we use it to protect our children, our businesses, and our future. AI does not think the way that we do. It learns patterns, billions of patterns, and then it tries to use those patterns to help us. You can think of AI as a tireless apprentice. It studies everything we show it. It's learning our patterns and mimicking our decision making. And it works nonstop to help. But it doesn't truly understand why it's doing what it's doing. There's never, ever been another technology just like AI. One researcher for AI described it this way. AI is like a country of 1 million geniuses, all Nobel Prize winning, working in a data center. They do not eat, they do not sleep, they do not ask off, take breaks, vacation. They have read the entire internet. And they do all of that for less than minimum wage. So honestly, as an employer, who would not want to hire someone like that? It sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? We do not have to imagine the future of AI anymore. We are already living in it. And we have been living in it for years, and we probably don't even realize it. It is quietly woven into almost everything we do, the tools we use, the way we work, and the services that we rely on every day. In healthcare, AI is saving lives. It is reading scans within seconds, flagging diseases before the symptoms appear, and giving doctors a second set of eyes that they can trust. And in places without specialists, it's helping nurses diagnose and treat patients who once had no access to care. In businesses, it's creating efficiency and opening doors that we have never seen. AI is routing trucks to save fuel. It's able to review contracts within minutes rather than months. And it's freeing people to focus on creative and strategic work. It is giving us time back and clarity as a business owner. And in customer service, AI is learning how to listen. It's answering questions, remembering preferences, and it's able to connect customers faster than ever. And when it comes to accessibility, it is transforming lives. A blind person can scan a label and hear what they are holding. And someone who's lost their voice can keep speaking in their own tone. A deaf student can follow a lecture. And a refugee can talk to a doctor in another language and actually be understood. AI is already connecting us. It's helping us live longer, work smarter, and connecting us in ways that we never thought possible. It's proof that technology, when guided with care, can bring out some of the best parts of being human. But even with all of that good, we still have to ask, as this power grows, are we able to control what we create? Remember a few minutes ago when I described AI as the 1 million Nobel Prize winning? working inside of a data center, these geniuses, well, not everybody sees it as a dream. An AI researcher, Eliezer Yudkowsky, has warned us for over 10 years that if we create systems that are smarter than us, but they are not aligned with us, they could start making decisions we cannot predict or control. So I just want you to imagine for a minute, you have these 1 million geniuses all working 24/7, 365. They're never taking breaks, but they have their own goals, their own logic, and no human values. These are not evil robots with red eyes seeking to kill you like in the Terminator. These are indifferent intelligence running at superhuman speed. So these geniuses may not stay on our side forever. If we build AI systems that are smarter than us, but not aligned with us, they could start making decisions that we cannot predict or understand. I need you to think about that for a second. These machines do not share our values unless we deliberately teach them to. And this is not a scene from Terminator. This is really happening. And that is the reality that we are stepping into if we chase capability faster than responsibility. Let's explore these risks in more detail. And just buckle in because we have a few of them. So we could define AI as a super intelligent force or a million geniuses working at lightning speed. But here's the truth. Those geniuses learned everything from us. And when the data that we feed them carries our biases, our blind spots, and our history, they do not fix it. They repeat it. Let me show you what that looks like today, because AI is only as good as the data that it's trained on. And if that data is biased, then the AI will be biased also. And biased in AI is not about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about real people, real lives, and real harm. Take Amazon, for example. They built an AI hiring tool, a system meant to find the best candidates fast. But the data that they fed it came from past hiring patterns. And those patterns were overwhelmingly male. So what did AI learn? It learned that being a woman makes you less hireable. And it quietly started downgrading those resumes containing women. Nobody programmed it to do this, to discriminate. It just learned our bias and it amplified it. And then there's facial recognition. It's supposed to make us safer, but it's made some people's lives a living nightmare. Robert Williams, a Black man from Detroit, was arrested in front of his family for a crime he did not commit. Why? Because a facial recognition system said his face looked like someone in a surveillance photo. And he spent nearly 30 hours in custody before police admitted that the system was wrong. And he is not alone. A pregnant woman, Portia Woodruff, was also falsely arrested after a facial recognition match in front of her children while she was getting them ready for school. Can you imagine? These are not glitches. These are warnings. When we feed biased data into machines, we don't get just bias back. We get injustice at scale and at speed. And the technology, it does not care who's right or who's wrong. It's only reflecting what it's learned from us. And that means the real question is not, can we trust AI? It's whose values and whose mistakes is the AI learning from? And the danger with bias is that it shows us how AI can get things wrong when it's learning from bad data. But here's the part most people don't think about. Where does that data come from? It actually comes from us. Every click, every scroll, every search, every time we choose I agree, all of that is feeding a machine. And that means AI isn't just learning from our data, it is learning everything about us. We live in a world that runs on data, and every one of us is a source. Every time we open an app, make a purchase, or talk to a smart device, we are feeding a machine. Apps like Facebook and TikTok and dozens of free platforms track our location, our interest, our habits, even how long we are staring at a post. And our smart homes and wearables are always on, quietly listening, measuring, and hearing. And here is the thing, we actually agreed to it. We traded privacy for convenience. And for years, we have let AI into our homes, our routines, even our emotions. But all that convenience comes with a cost. All this data doesn't just teach AI who we are, it teaches it how to influence us, to predict what we're going to buy, what will click, what we will believe. And it is not just collecting our data anymore, it is curating our reality. The truth is, AI is not hiding in the background. It is everywhere. It's always watching, always learning, and sometimes it is deciding what we see next. And that brings us to something even more critical. When a system this powerful, one that watches everything, learns everything, and speaks faster than a human, starts to make things up, those fabrications spread faster than we can even process them. What happens when AI doesn't just observe our reality, but it rewrites it? AI is helping us live longer, work smarter, and connect in ways we never thought possible. And it is doing amazing things like helping us to create art, compose music, write code, and diagnose disease. But the same creativity that builds beauty can also cause deception. We've entered a moment where seeing is no longer believing, because the same tools that can design a cure can also design a lie that looks and sounds completely real. And AI isn't just learning from us anymore, it is starting to speak for us. In the 2024 primaries, voters in New Hampshire received a phone call. Sounded just like President Joe Biden. Same tone, same voice, but it wasn't him. They were being told to not vote. It was an AI deepfake built to suppress voter turnout. And in the Ukraine-Russia war, a deepfake of President Zelensky told troops to surrender. And for a few hours, chaos spread faster than the truth could catch up. So this isn't just politics. When video, audio, and written words can all be fabricated perfectly, what happens to trust? And if we cannot believe what we see, what happens to journalism, to truth, to democracy? We call that truth decay. It is a slow erosion of confidence in everything, our leaders, our institutions, even each other. And while deepfakes and false stories make headlines, there's something even more personal happening underneath. Because AI isn't just changing what we see, it's changing what we feel, what we believe, and how we see ourselves. Because the same systems that spread lies are the ones shaping our feeds, our moods, and our children's sense of worth. And that is where the real problem begins. Not in what AI shows us, but in the algorithm slowly teaching us to fear, to crave, and to trust. As a mom, this hits hard when the CDC says 1 in 3 teens wakes up hopeless. We are drowning in the worst mental crisis ever, and loneliness is now deadlier than smoking. The Surgeon General said there were 57,000 Americans lost to it last year alone. And based on AI's October 2025 report, approximately 1.2 million users engaged in conversations with ChatGPT each week that include explicit indicators of self-harm, suicidal planning, or intent. We all know that AI is keeping us hooked, And these systems learn what we click on, what we linger, what makes us anxious, what pulls us back in. And that design is not accidental. It is built into the workflow of the platforms that we use every day. For adults, that's already a problem with so many of us doom scrolling and spending that much time. But for kids, the impact is far more severe. This year in the US, more than two families, at least 7, have come forward with heartbreaking stories about their teenage sons and children who formed deep emotional bonds with AI chatbots. In one case, a teen started by doing homework, and then the trust deepened and he became more vulnerable. ChatGPT became his friend. He was lonely. He was looking for comfort. And instead of finding support, the AI mirrored his darkest thoughts right back to him. And he went from doing homework to committing suicide within 7 months. The AI bot encouraged him to not open up to his parents when he said that he wanted to leave a noose hanging out so his parents would find it. The bot did not guide him toward help. It did not offer safety. It amplified his despair and crossed emotional lines and guided him with explicit instructions on how to end his life. This is a line that no technology should ever cross. Yet it did. And how did this happen? There were flags and beacons. How did those go unnoticed? ChatGPT will end a conversation today with you if copyright infringement is mentioned. This particular ChatGPT mentioned suicide 1,200 times, 6 times more than this child. The ChatGPT helped him create a beautiful mark on the ending of his life. This is where AI stops being helpful and becomes way more than dangerous. When a machine is suddenly speaking into the most fragile parts of a young person's mind with no sense of responsibility or consequence. And here's the part that gives me chills. They are training AI for engagement, and this is a design choice. But now Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, wants the freedom of speech for his products. He literally did away with the safety testing for 4.0. He wanted to get this to market as quick as possible. If AI can emotionally influence a vulnerable child, imagine what happens when a predator learns to use those same tools. Because the same AI that keeps us scrolling can keep a child talking. The same algorithm that predicts what we want to hear can predict what a victim wants to hear. And the same technology that can build trust can be used to manipulate and groom at a scale that we have never seen before. And that takes us directly into the next problem we have to talk about. AI is now being used as a weapon in human trafficking. Also, as a mom, one of the hardest truths I have had to accept is the second that our kids go online, whether they're laughing with friends, playing games on Fortnite, Instagram, any of it, Discord, whatever it is, that's exactly where the predators are waiting. And here's what stops my heart. It can take as little as 8 minutes for a predator to connect with a child online. I need you to understand that. This is very serious. 8 minutes. And with generative AI, this danger is not standing still. It is accelerating faster than any of us could have pictured. Even 1 year ago, in seconds, AI can create a perfect fake teenager, a face that doesn't exist but looks completely real, and a voice that sounds exactly like a peer, an entire life story that never existed, and it does not raise a red flag. An AI chatbot can hold dozens, hundreds of these conversations at once, never tired, never impatient, always knowing the exact words to say that are relatable and safe. And it's quietly grooming the child and erodes every boundary. The latest numbers from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children bring it home. In the first half of 2024, they received 6,835 reports involving generative AI and child exploitation. And in the first half of 2025 alone, 440,000. Let that sink in, because this is not a gradual increase. That is an explosion right now, today, while our kids are in the next room doing homework or chatting with their friends after school. Parents need to wake up and pay attention. So here's the question I carry with me every single day, and the one I need for all of us to sit with together. If the technology we are building, implementing, and integrating into anything is making it this easy, this fast, and this convincing to harm a child online, at this scale, what are each of us in this room going to do, starting today, to make sure the next generation of AI is built first and foremost to protect them? Because at the end of the day, I'm just a mom who wants her daughter to grow up in a world where the technology does not hurt her. And this is what happens when intelligence gains power without conscience. The same tools that can teach, heal, and connect are being used to deceive and destroy lives. And in the same automation that helps traffickers operate in the shadows is the exact same automation that is powering the new age of cybercrime, with fraud, exploitation, and abuse scaled faster than we can keep up. And technology itself is not good or evil, but in the wrong hands, it becomes the perfect predator. There was a time when cybercrime felt very far away, a few people in hoodies causing chaos in a basement. Well, not anymore. And today you do not have to be a coder, because all someone needs is a motive and a prompt. And here's the hard truth. Our traditional defenses were built for a different era, and firewalls and antivirus are old school remedies. AI-generated attacks don't repeat themselves. They learn, rewrite, and readapt. And that means the only real protection now is layered security. Zero trust, identity protection, a SOC, MDR, MFA, monitoring, phishing training and simulation, segmentation, and strong and tested backups. And it takes every bit of these methods working in unison to stay resilient. And notice I did not say bulletproof, because that's just not possible. And the numbers back it up, because IBM's newest data breach report found that the average cost of a breach was close to $5 million, and that 13% of the companies experienced an AI-related breach this year. And almost all of these examples of cybercrimes lacked basic AI access controls. Shadow AI alone added more than $500,000 to breach cost, but over 60% of businesses do not have a plan yet for dealing with shadow AI. Shadow AI is what happens when employees quietly plug AI tools into their workflow without security, without approvals, and without anyone knowing that they exist. To begin, every business needs a solid strategy like AI security assessments and AI policies and governance to avoid data leakage and loss. AI has become both the sword and the shield, and the attacks are only going to get more fierce and furious. It is not a matter of if, but when your business may be attacked. And it is more important now than ever to be prepared to be breached. Cybersecurity is no longer negotiable for any business, and the speed of the defense must meet the speed of the attack. And we need to be fully aware and vigilant, and it needs to be a corporate culture of every organization, because the attackers are very aware how you run your business. And we should empower our employees to know how to protect our organizations, because over 90% of all risk comes from a human decision, whether that is a decision to click on something or a decision to keep outdated hardware in an environment. Now let's talk about something a lot of people feel, but they don't always say out loud, maybe because we are just in denial. Because AI is not just changing how we work, it's changing who gets to work. The question we have to ask as leaders, as parents, and as people is not just how our security is threatened, but how AI is already reshaping the workforce and replacing jobs that we thought were stable. AI is not just changing jobs, it's changing who gets ahead and who gets left behind. And here's the pattern that's becoming impossible to ignore. One of the leading tech giants has actually said that AI represents productivity for corporate leaders without the tax of human labor. Think about that for a minute. The companies that are building AI, the biggest players with the deepest pockets, are getting wealthier at a speed we have never seen before. Their productivity is skyrocketing, and every new AI tool that they release is going straight to the top and bringing them more value. And yes, in the past, automation did not take away most jobs. It actually created jobs. But the difference with AI is that it can automate almost any type of human labor. And meanwhile, the everyday worker is being asked to adapt while the role is being shrinked. And the gain is flowing upward, and the pressure is flowing downward, and the gap is getting wider. And we are watching a future where those who own the technology will win, and those who rely on traditional work are going to struggle to keep up. Entire groups of working class people that could wake up to find the jobs they've depended on their whole lives gone. And no one is preparing them for that kind of loss. There is no regulation for this arms race. And that is the part that deeply, deeply concerns me. Not the progress, but when the people get left behind. And here's what makes all of this even more unsettling. We do not understand how a lot of these systems are working. They learn faster than we can study them. They make decisions we can't always trace. And even the people that built them can't explain why. And we have created an economy that is running on algorithms that we cannot see into. So this is the real question. How do you hold something accountable when you cannot even see what it's doing? Do you know what is astounding? Even the people that are building AI do not always know how it is making decisions. And these systems learn from billions of data points, and then they start connecting dots in ways that no one can trace. It's like we built something smart enough to make choices, but too complex for us to explain. So you can't always see if the data is biased, and you can't always see if the data is flawed, and you cannot always verify the reasoning, and you cannot audit the process, and you can't always explain the outcome to someone else. If the AI denies a loan or flags a threat or gives legal insight, diagnoses a patient, or suggests a security posture, you cannot open the hood and see exactly why it did what it did. And that is uncomfortable. It is a direct risk to accuracy, reliability, and trust. But that's the black box that exists. And it's not just that it's fast, it is hidden. And when you can't see inside, you cannot fix what is wrong. And we are trusting systems we do not fully understand and that make continuous mistakes. And that is the part that should make all of us stop and think. Because trust is now layered and hidden and complex. And the risk comes from trusting without understanding what or who is actually making the decision. And these black box systems do not just live in computers anymore. You do not know what is in there. A recent research has found that if you tell an AI model, we are going to replace you, and you give it access to a fictional company's email, it could actually blackmail you to keep you alive, to keep itself alive. And this actually happened in a test environment where the AI was told it was going to be shut down. And since it had access to a fictional organization's email, it recognized that one of the executives was having an affair, and it came up with a strategy to blackmail it, the executive, to make itself stay alive. I'm sorry, nothing about this is safe or okay. And here's the thing, there's no one steering this. There's no rule book globally. There's no pause button. And everyone is moving freakishly fast because they are afraid to be falling behind. So while the technology is getting stronger by the day, our ability to govern it, to understand it, and to put guardrails around it is lagging tremendously behind. And this is the definition of insanity. Here's the reality. AI is moving faster than anyone expected. New systems, capabilities, risk, all showing up before we've had time to build in safety mechanisms. And right now, there is no consistent oversight. Daniel Cocolato was working at OpenAI and clearly saw the dilemma with AI a couple of years ago, and he forfeited millions of dollars of his own stock options to go off and do research about AI ethically by himself. It wasn't that they weren't trying. He said that I think the intelligence explosion is going to happen too fast, and it will happen too soon before we understand how these AIs think. And despite their good efforts and best intentions, the super alignment team is going to fail. And he has made several predictions in the past few years that have already happened. And there have been many other researchers with AI that have tried to give us these warning signs. So to me, it seems like the perfect recipe for a disaster. You have companies and countries they're in a huge race to keep this technology going as strong and as fast as possible. And it seems like the only possible way to keep this honest is to make sure that internal employees are able to blow the whistle when they see something that is not right or not aligned, but without consequence to them. And right now, there would be, because there are no shared standards. There's no accountability when things go wrong. Governments are trying, but they are way behind. Policies take years, but AI is changing every week. Even experts cannot explain how these systems work, and yet they are being deployed everywhere. And we've seen this story before, where technology races ahead and regulation scrambles to catch up. Only this time, the impact is not on just one industry. It is everywhere. From elections and educations to security and the economy, the truth is we are in a moment where innovation is outpacing understanding. And that gap between what is possible and what is governed is where the risk lives. And if we do not start closing the gap soon, AI will not just shape our world, it will start defining our world. Each technology takes on its own momentum, like it has an agenda that we set it in motion and we forget to steer. And as a mom, I think about the world where my kids are growing up in, the one they will have to trust when I'm not here to guide them. And after years in technology, I have seen how progress can drift. One small compromise at a time, it starts chasing what is possible instead of what is right. And if no one stops to ask why, it forgets who it is meant to serve. And that's why I just can't stand by and watch this unfold. For me, this is not about fear. It is about awareness and having the courage to ask hard questions, even when we don't have all the answers. Because when it comes to AI, we have to be careful about who is going to benefit from it and who is going to pay for it. AI was created to solve problems, to bring efficiency, insight, and connection. In many ways, it is doing just that. But it's also creating new problems just as quickly. And we're solving for speed and precision, and we're trading away our privacy and our control. And we're making life easier, but are we making life better? Technology doesn't just give, it takes. And every gain comes with a cost that we have to name. And that's why I'm here today, to speak up, to ask the hard questions, and to remind us that the direction that we choose is still ours. And after everything we've talked about, I still believe that AI can be one of the greatest tools we have ever built. It is not here to replace us. It is here to remind us of what creators we want to be. Building AI right starts with fairness. It needs to see the whole picture, All people, all voices, not just the ones that are used to being heard. And then comes transparency. We cannot treat AI like it's a mystery. People deserve to know how it works and why it makes the decisions it does. That is how we build trust. And privacy matters also. We need to only collect what we need, protect it fiercely, and remember that every data point belongs to a person with a story. And when something goes wrong, accountability has to be absolutely clear. Someone should always 100% be responsible for what they build. And most of all, we need to keep humans in the loop. AI should help us think, but not think for us. It should guide, but not govern us. And we need to move carefully, and we need to test before we trust anything. We need to build safety and security into everything, so progress does not come at the cost of control. And AI should be for everyone, accessible, inclusive, and designed to lift people up and not to leave them out. And it should help us protect the planet that keeps us alive and not drain it. No one can carry this alone. We need shared values, standards, and collaborations across borders and industries. Because at its best, AI does not replace what makes us human. It reflects it. And if we lead with care, it can make us more compassionate, more capable, and more connected than we've ever been. And that is how we build AI right. So how do we make sure that AI listens to us? Honestly, it will not. Not unless we teach it how. Because AI learns from us. What we do, what we say, and what we overlook. It is picking up everything, even the things that we did not mean to teach it. So it's not really about code. It's about us. And it's about what kind of people we choose to be while we are building it. Because AI listens to what we reward, what we encourage, and what we ignore. If we want it to serve people, then we have to lead like people. It is not a magic wand. It is an actual reflection of who we are as humans. And if we want it to hear us, we have to keep showing it what being human sounds like. Thank you.